idea of where you can find at least a little bit of joy. But joy in this day is talking about an expression of a feeling for something that has happened and something that has happened and something that will happen again. We talked about this on the first Sunday of Advent. Something that has happened is Jesus was already born in Bethlehem. We already know that. That's why we celebrate it every year. It's sort of like your own birthdays. We already know that you were born, but we celebrate your birthdays and you celebrate with your friends and family because it's something that should be celebrated every single year. But we also celebrate something else, and that's the coming of Christ again. And so there's joy in the knowledge that Jesus will be celebrated as the Christ child in Bethlehem. But there is joy also that something else will be happening in a little bit. We don't know how long, but it will be happening. And so that's that whole idea of what Advent is all about. Getting ready for something that has already happened and getting ready for something that will happen. But joy. Joy is one of those things that you either have or you don't. And sometimes you're just not sure if you feel joyful about anything. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there was a guy by the name of Isaac Watts. Isaac Watts was an English poet and a clergyman of his time in the early 1700s. And he wrote a song that you will notice, and you will know when I talk about it in just a second, but he wrote it in such a way that it was a paraphrase of the Psalm 98. Now, Psalm 98 is not one that we necessarily talk about a whole lot, but because we're on the theme of joy today, you might be able to guess what hymn or what carol that might be. Anyone want to guess? Joy to the world, okay? Joy to the world. Joy to the world, actually, if you look in all the hymnals, the ones that I grew up in, the SBH, the Service Book and Hymnal, the Lutheran Book of Worship, and now the ELW, you will notice that in the section where Joy to the World is found, it is not Christmas. Joy to the World is not a Christmas carol. So when you sing Joy to the World, you're actually singing an Advent hymn. It is in the Advent section of this hymnal on 267. It is always usually the last one, that right before Christmas. But most people think of it as a Christmas carol because sometimes the word joy to the world, the Lord, what is the next word? Is come, not has. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Which is coming, that it's talking about, is coming. It's an Advent theme because the psalm that he paraphrased it is a prophecy, but it's also talking about that Messiah that is coming, but also the fact that God is near, God is coming near us. So, joy to the world, something great is happening. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive its King. And then it also talks about prepare your hearts and prepare the way. Well, certainly that's a John the Baptist kind of hymn. So Advent is full of joy for lots of different reasons. So Isaac Watts did us a great favor in giving us a wonderful hymn that we can sing. We don't have to wait for Christmas for it to happen. I always wondered why we got away with singing Joy to the World on the fourth Sunday of Advent, thinking that it was a Christmas carol, because we were never allowed to sing Christmas carols in church before Christmas Eve. But it's an Advent hymn that talks about an expression that we have of joy. Now, joy is one of those expressions where great happiness and all those different things that come when you smile, things that you express when something good has happened to you, or it's just a really good feeling that you have when you see a baby in your midst, when you see wonderful snow that you might have seen in North Carolina this past week, or that you might be hoping for today. It might be in the person that is named Joy sitting next to you. It might be finding joy in the word words of a Christmas card. It might be joy in the words that someone says when you're mourning the loss of someone. Joy can come in a lot of different ways. I also want to read to you the third reading that goes along with the lectionary for today. It comes from the 4th chapter of Philippians, Paul's letter to the Philippians. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Do not worry about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Rejoice. You might not have even known how often you have said that word this morning in the liturgy and in the words that you might have heard from the songs that were sung, and now in the scripture that you've heard. Joy, rejoice, showing an expression of joy. We heard it in O Come, Emmanuel. And there's always an exclamation point that comes after it. Rejoice! Show your joy! Something big is about to happen. And you say it with a big smile on your face. You don't say it like a grump, like the Grinch. But you say it with the exuberance of someone that knows a big secret, or someone that has something that they want to tell you that they are just bursting at the seams to tell. Rejoice! Rejoice! Let your gentleness be known. In this world, where people are always seen to beat up on others, where people might be beating up on you, rejoice! Let your gentleness, and in this case, the original language, it means more like magnanimous. Magnanimous comes with a word where a king might be magnanimous to his, or a queen, to his or her servants, to his or her subjects. And being magnanimous means that you're the bigger person when you could very easily be the smaller person. And we as Christians are called to be big in our expression of joy, but also big in our expression of forgiveness, big in our expression of care for others, big in our expression of love toward our fellow person. Now we could sing Joy to the World today, and it would be perfectly good. But there's another song that I want to sing, and hopefully you can help sing with me. Maybe you know this song, maybe you don't. But if you do, help me out. At least I'm going to go through the first verse, and then we'll come back and pick you up. It goes like this. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. How many people know that song? Okay, very good. Now, if you know it, sing along. If you don't, fake it. Okay? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. Okay, now there are lots of different verses and lots of different versions of the verses, but the other one that I want to go through goes directly in conjunction with Philippians. And it goes like this. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. If you get that, that's the rest, and you will know the rest of it, okay? I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy. I can hear you. So very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm wonderfully. So, if you have joy going down in your heart, and if you're happy, that is an expression of how you feel because God is somewhere close to you. God is near. Because God is in your heart, because God is in your life, but also the peace that God gives to you, which goes beyond all of our brains, but goes beyond our comprehension, which goes beyond all of our understanding. That peace comes also because God is near, because God is with us, because God is part of our lives. And when you have that joy, it is hard not to want to shout it out. It is hard not to want to share it with somebody else. It's hard not to sort of get excited about just the smallest of little things. That's what the joy of Jesus, the joy of God, is all about. But the problem is, even if you have that joy, sometimes you're just not feeling it. You're just not to the point where you can smile. There are things going on in this world, sometimes in your own life, that makes it very difficult to feel that joy, to feel that love, to feel that peace. So what do? How do you make things happen that where you can just sort of get caught up in it? So John the Baptist tells us, if you have 2 shirts, give one away. If you have food and you have extra, give it away. If you have anything to share with someone else, of any means, of any value, share it with others. And in that midst of sharing, that joy will be imbibed into your life. That joy will be evident to the person that you give those things to. It comes as a byproduct of our caring for someone else. If you know someone that is hurting at this time of year, if you know someone that is grieving at this time of year, and that the joy that we know to be happening because of Advent, but especially because of Christmas, that this time of year just isn't their time of year. And share it in such a way that they can rejoice in their own special way. There are soldiers, there are people who have lost loved ones, there are people that are away from home who just don't necessarily feel that joy. That don't necessarily appreciate joy through the world, the Lord is come. But if we share ourselves, if we challenge each other to reach out and help one another, that joy will be contagious. Just like a smile is contagious, your joy will be contagious with others. I've got the joy down in my heart. And I'm so happy. Because I know what Advent is all about. And I know that Christmas is coming. And because of those 2 seasons, I know that my life can only get better. Even when I'm depressed, even when I'm not feeling it, even when this season is just not doing it for me, I know that something better is going to happen. So today, God at Sunday, a day of joy, express yourself. Let your gentleness, let your magnanimousness be known. And know that the peace that surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And will help you to feel the joy of the season, to feel the joy of love in Jesus Christ, so that you can share it with others. May your life be filled with joy today, tomorrow, and in a number of days ahead.